Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we will be looking at two 5-star operators from the supporter class. They are both from the Hexer archetype and both of them focuses on debuffing enemies, so of course, war. First, looking at their stats, Shamare and Pramanix both boasts a low HP, attack and defense, while having a decent resistance, and they both have a DP cost of 12. These low stats are common in the archetype, so the best place to deploy them is in a corner where they will not be targeted by ranged enemies. However, there are also other things such as skills and talents that restrict this. Next, let's look at their talent. Shamare's talent states that she will apply 30% fragile effect to enemies in range with less than 40% HP. Fragile effect will increase all damage taken by enemies by the percentage amount. This talent only works when Shamare is deployed close to enemies, which risks getting wrecked by ranged enemies. While the fragile debuff is great, it only applies to enemies with 40% or lesser HP. Therefore people would rather place Shamare somewhere far away from battle than place her right smack in the battlefield. Next, let's look at Pramanix. Pramanix has two talents despite being a 5-star, and the first being the same as Shamare's and the second allowing her to attack two enemies simultaneously. From her talent, you can already tell Pramanix wants to be deployed near enemies. Thanks to the second extra talent, Pramanix wins the first war by a small margin. Next, let's look at their signature skills. Shamare's signature skill is her skill 2, where she can summon a doll that reduces the attack and defense of enemies around the doll by 50%. The doll lasts for a maximum of 15 seconds and you can only hold one doll at a time. Shamare's S2 has an average SP cost of 30 at Mastery 3, so obtaining dolls in time isn't a big issue. Furthermore, the defense debuff is awesome and you can place the doll anywhere on the map. Also, the doll lowers enemies' attack at the same time, making this an offensive and defensive skill. As you can tell, Shamare is an extremely versatile unit to play with. Just tuck her away in a corner and she can do her job perfectly. Next up is Pramanix. Pramanix's signature skill is her skill 2, and it states that for all enemies within range, their defense -60% and resistance -30%. As you can see, the debuff from this skill beats Shamare's as it shreds both defense and resistance. However, she has to be deployed near your damage dealers as enemies outside her range will not be affected at all. This skill's DP cost is higher than Shamare's at an average 40, but the duration is also longer. While Pramanix's skill is amazing, Shamare's skill 2 is much more popular as she can literally debuff enemies from afar, unlike Pramanix, who might actually get wrecked before you get the chance to use her skill. This is a win for Shamare. Next, let's look at their alternate skills. Shamare's skill 1 states that her attack plus 60% increases the fragile effect from her talent to 54%, and this skill has unlimited duration. This skill requires Shamare to be near your damage dealers where ranged enemies are probably passing through regularly. Not a good skill to mastery, but at least it has unlimited duration and the fragile effect is great. Next is Pramanix. Her skill 1 lets her simultaneously attack two targets. Attack speed of enemies in range -60%. This skill is a defensive skill where lowering enemies' attack speed lowers their DPS output, increasing your allies' survivability. Even so, not a skill worth mastery, as her skill 2 is preferred over her skill 1. This round ends with a draw. So, who is better? The answer is Shamare. Shamare is usually the preferred Hexer supporter to use thanks to her versatile playstyle and easy deployment. While Pramanix's debuffs are much better than Shamare's, the fact that she has to be near ranged enemies is a little risky as her defense is very low. Therefore, Shamare is a better pick and her skill 2 is definitely worth the masteries. That being said, Pramanix's E2 art is absolutely gorgeous and most players probably leveled her up for that E2 art. And that is all. Hope this video was helpful in comparing Emo Girl Shamare and Best Miko Pramanix. I will be making similar content in the future, so do consider subscribing to my channel to stay tuned. I also have a Twitter account and I make regular posts about upcoming news and fan art, so do follow me there. Link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.